The first spark. I never imagined one evening could change everything between us. We had always been close, friends who shared secrets, late-night talks, and stolen glances that neither of us dared to name. But that night was different. The city lights outside her apartment window shimmered like stars trapped in glass, and the air between us carried something heavier than silence. We were sitting close on her couch, laughter still clinging to our lips after some silly joke, when I felt it, her eyes lingering on me just a little too long, her hand brushing against mine like it didn't want to let go. My heart thudded in my chest, nervous and excited, a rhythm that betrayed the truth I had tried so hard to hide. When she leaned closer, her perfume wrapped around me like a spell, soft and intoxicating. Her fingers grazed my cheek, and before I could even breathe, her lips pressed against mine. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't hesitant. It was fire, raw, hungry, and desperate. My entire body melted into hers as if I had been waiting for that kiss all my life. I gasped against her mouth, but she didn't let go. She kissed me again, harder, pulling me closer until I was lost in her warmth, lost in the heat of her kisses. Every time our lips broke apart, they found each other again, as if we couldn't survive the space between us. Her hand slid into my hair, tugging me deeper into the moment. I clutched at her shirt, not even realizing how tightly I held her, afraid she would slip away if I loosened my grip. My thoughts scattered like ash, leaving only the truth burning inside me. I wanted her, needed her, in ways I could no longer deny. When we finally paused, our breaths tangled in the small space between us, her eyes searched mine with a softness that almost undid me. "I've wanted to do that for so long," she whispered, her voice trembling, as though afraid of rejection. I touched her lips, still swollen from our kisses, and whispered back, "Then don't stop." And she didn't. She kissed me again. And again. Until the night itself seemed to surrender to us. The confession. The room felt smaller after that first storm of kisses, like the walls had closed in to keep our secret safe. My lips were tingling, my breath uneven, but my heart was louder than anything else. I couldn't look away from her, not from the way her eyes glowed like embers, not from the faint curve of a smile on her lips. She looked at me as though I was something precious, something she had been afraid to touch until now. I leaned back against the couch, trying to steady myself, but she followed, her body closing the space between us. Her hand slipped into mine, fingers weaving together as if they had always belonged there. "I thought you didn't feel the same," she murmured, almost shy, though her touch was anything but timid. I laughed softly, a shaky laugh, because the truth felt so heavy on my tongue. I told myself I didn't. I tried to hide it. But the moment you kissed me, everything I buried came rushing back. Her thumb brushed across my knuckles, slow and tender. "So it wasn't just me." "No," I whispered, leaning closer. "Never just you." That was all the permission she needed. She kissed me again, slower this time, letting her lips linger against mine as though memorizing the shape of me. Each kiss was different, soft and searching, then needy and wild, like a storm rising inside her that she couldn't contain. My chest rose and fell against hers, my pulse racing as her warmth seeped into me. I clung to her, afraid this moment was fragile, afraid it would break if I loosened my hold. Her other hand rested against my waist, drawing me nearer until I felt the heat of her body pressed against mine. The electricity between us sparked in every touch, every kiss, every whisper of breath. When we finally broke apart, our foreheads rested together. She closed her eyes, as though she couldn't face the weight of the words she was about to speak. "I'm in love with you," she said, voice trembling. "I've been in love with you for longer than I can admit." Her confession hit me like lightning. My chest tightened, my heart aching with the truth I had denied myself for so long. I cupped her face in both hands, forcing her to look at me. "I love you too," I breathed, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. "I think I always have." The silence that followed wasn't heavy anymore. It was alive, filled with the pulse of something new, something powerful. She smiled then, a smile that melted into another kiss, and another. And once again, I was lost in the heat of her kisses, unable and unwilling to ever find my way back. The night unfolds. The clock on the wall ticked quietly, but time felt irrelevant. The world outside her apartment might as well not have existed, because everything I needed was here, in her touch, in her gaze, in the warmth of her lips. I didn't know how long we kissed, only that each one pulled me deeper into her, until my body felt like it was made of fire and surrender. She tucked me closer, shifting so I was half in her lap, our legs tangled in a mess of intimacy that blurred the line between friendship and love. My hands explored without thinking, sliding up her arms, memorizing the softness of her skin beneath her shirt. Her heartbeat thudded against my chest, wild and restless, as though it matched my own. Between kisses, she whispered my name like it was both a prayer and a plea. "Do you have any idea what you do to me?" I smiled against her lips, whispering back, "Maybe the same thing you're doing to me." Her laugh was low, breathless, before it melted into another kiss that stole my words. There was nothing careful about the way she held me now. She kissed me with a hunger that had been caged too long, her hands exploring, her lips devouring. Each time we pulled apart for air, our eyes locked, daring each other to admit how much deeper we wanted this to go. At some point, she rose, pulling me with her, and we stumbled toward her bedroom, our lips refusing to part for more than a heartbeat. The door clicked shut behind us, sealing us in our own world of fire and shadows. Moonlight spilled across her bed, casting silver lines over the sheets, and it felt almost unreal, like stepping into a dream I never wanted to wake from. She cupped my face gently, almost reverently, before leaning in again. Her kiss this time was slower, lingering, as if she wanted to savor every second, every taste of me. "You're so beautiful," she whispered, her voice breaking just slightly. My chest tightened at her words, my fingers tracing the outline of her jaw. "So are you," I replied, my throat tight with emotion. And then there was nothing but heat, lips colliding again and again, until the world dissolved into nothing but us. The night unfolded around us like a secret promise, and I knew, with every kiss she gave me, that there was no turning back. Breathless surrender. The bedroom was wrapped in shadows and moonlight, but her touch lit me brighter than any flame. She pressed me back onto the bed, her hair falling like a curtain around us as she kissed me with a fever I couldn't resist. Each kiss burned hotter than the last, each touch sparking something inside me I had kept hidden for far too long. I gasped when her lips trailed away from my mouth, brushing down my neck, leaving a path of fire in their wake. My fingers tangled in her hair, pulling her closer, my body arching into her with a hunger I didn't know I had. Every brush of her lips, every graze of her teeth, sent shivers racing down my spine. She whispered against my skin, her voice husky and trembling, "I can't stop. I don't want to stop." And I didn't want her to. I tilted my head back, giving her more of me, every nerve alive under her touch. My breaths came in sharp, uneven waves, her kisses stealing the air from my lungs until I was dizzy with need. When her lips returned to mine, it was frantic, desperate, as though she feared the night might vanish before we could taste all of it. Our bodies tangled in the sheets, heat rising between us, the room filling with the sound of our breaths and the quiet moans that escaped no matter how much I tried to hold them back. I cupped her face between my hands, forcing her to meet my gaze. Her eyes were dark pools of longing, and in them, I saw the same surrender that was pulling me under. "I'm yours," I whispered, the words falling from my lips before I could second-guess them. Her chest rose sharply, her breath catching as though my confession struck something deep inside her. She kissed me again, hard, deep, endless, like she was sealing my words into her soul. The kisses grew softer after that, slower, more tender, like she wanted to memorize every inch of me with her lips. She kissed me again and again, until I forgot the world outside, until I forgot the person I had been before this night. And as I lay beneath her, breathless and trembling, I realized something undeniable: this wasn't just passion. This was love, raw and unstoppable, and it was consuming us both in the sweetest way possible. After the storm. The night wrapped around us like a secret no one else would ever know. By the time our kisses slowed, the urgency gave way to something softer, something that felt even more dangerous: tenderness. We lay tangled together, her arm draped across me, my head resting against her chest, listening to the wild rhythm of her heartbeat. Neither of us spoke at first. Words seemed too fragile to carry the weight of what had just happened. My lips were swollen, my skin still tingling from every place she had touched, and my heart was a mess of fear and exhilaration. Finally, she broke the silence, her voice quiet but steady. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, but I don't regret it. I tilted my head, looking up at her. The moonlight caught her features, softening the edges of her beauty, and for a moment she didn't look like my friend anymore, she looked like the love I had always been too afraid to claim. Neither do I whispered, my fingers tracing lazy patterns on her arm. I've been denying this for so long. Denying you. Denying me. She pressed a kiss to my forehead, gentle and lingering, before whispering, we don't have to deny it anymore. The words sank into me like a promise, and for the first time in a long time, I believed them. Still, fear crept in, sharp and cold. What would this mean tomorrow? What would it mean for the world outside this room? As if sensing my unease, she pulled me closer, holding me so tightly I thought she could feel my doubts trying to break through. Don't overthink it, she murmured. For tonight, it's just us. Just you and me. Her reassurance soothed me, but my heart was restless. I closed my eyes, pressing a kiss against her collarbone. I'm scared, I admitted softly. Scared of how much I need you. Her hand slid up to cradle my face, lifting it so I had no choice but to meet her gaze. Her eyes were fierce, burning with a conviction that stole my breath. Then let yourself need me. Because I need you too. More than you'll ever know. And then, as if her words weren't enough, she kissed me again. Not rushed, not wild, just slow and steady, sealing her promise with the kind of kiss that made me believe we could survive anything, as long as we had this. I melted into her, lost once more in the heat of her kisses, knowing that no matter what tomorrow brought, tonight had already changed everything. A new beginning. The first rays of morning slipped through the curtains, painting the room in shades of gold. I stirred awake, still wrapped in her arms, her warmth pressed firmly against me. For a moment, I didn't move. I just lay there, listening to her steady breathing, feeling the rise and fall of her chest beneath my cheek. It was surreal, waking up like this, as if the night before had been both a dream and the most real thing I had ever known. I shifted slightly, and her eyes fluttered open. A slow smile spread across her lips, sleepy and beautiful. Good morning, she whispered, her voice husky with sleep. Good morning, I whispered back, brushing a strand of hair from her face. For a moment, we just stared at each other, both of us caught between wonder and uncertainty. Last night had been wild, passionate, unstoppable. But now daylight was here, and daylight had a way of asking questions the night never dared to. She reached out, tracing her fingers down my arm. Do you regret it? She asked softly, though her voice trembled like she was bracing herself for the answer. I shook my head immediately, my heart speaking before my mind had the chance to twist it into doubt. No. Not for a second. Do you? Her smile widened, and she leaned in, kissing me gently. Not even close. Relief washed over me, warm and sweet. I nestled closer to her, pressing my forehead against hers. Then what happens now? She sighed, thoughtful, her thumb stroking over my hand. We take it one step at a time. The world doesn't have to know everything today. What matters is us, what we feel, what we want. Her words sank deep into me, grounding me in a way nothing else could. The fear that had haunted me melted under the certainty in her voice. Maybe it wouldn't be easy. Maybe people wouldn't understand. But as long as she was here, kissing me, holding me, choosing me, I knew I could face anything. She kissed me again, slower this time, like she wanted to remind me that no matter how the world looked at us, we had something worth fighting for. And as her lips lingered on mine, soft and unhurried, I realized that last night wasn't the end of a story. It was the beginning. I smiled into the kiss, whispering against her lips, lost in the heat of your kisses. I think that's exactly where I want to stay. And she kissed me again. And again. Until morning became ours. Until love, unspoken for so long, finally found its voice in every kiss we shared.